We say shalom, shalom to our online audience. Mosai to our Mashiach bless you all. Welcome to the Strong Men Club. The Strong Men Club is a club where we teach men on how to be men. So today in our podcast, we will go over the art of leading for men. They say one thing, brothers. They say it's not that we as a people don't have leaders. The tragic thing about our people is whenever a leader die or they kill a leader, it takes over 50 years before we find a replacement. Meaning what? Throughout the nations, they have leaders. They have leaders that they teach. They raise leaders. They have institution to raise leaders, but our people, we have no leaders. We have nobody to lead us as a people. So therefore, we become that kind of nation where we don't have real leaders, right? So today we will go over um, leadership for our men because we teaching men how to be strong, and the best way you do that is by teaching you how to properly lead. We have some serious crisis in our community when it comes to leadership among the nation. When it comes to leadership, we can't seem to find the trust we need in the leaders. We seem to not be able to um, respect our own leaders because of so many different experiences. But the thing is with leadership, as the most I say, before you even lead a nation, you have to be able to lead the house. For he that desire the office of the bishop, as the scripture mentioned, he has to be able to be a man of good reputation, a man that have his household in order.
Shalom, shalom,
We say shalom to our brothers. By the way, this
shalom.
is for all our online listeners. This is a Strongman Club. What is that club about? It's to teach men how to regain our manhood, which we have lost, especially the so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanic in these last days, where we fail our women and our children. So today, the art of leading for men, a guideline. So we hope every brothers take note. So brother Surak, I know brother Saradin is here. Brother Saradin, will you be able to read?
Oh,
All right, let's get to it. So give me 1 second. Get me Isaiah 29 verse 10 to open up. Isaiah 29 verse 10.
Isaiah 29, verse 10. For the Most High has poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and has closed your eyes, the prophets, and your rulers, the seers, has he covered.
Right. So the Most High had, that's one of the things the Most High had done. He poured out His Spirit upon our people, right? Our seers, our leaders. Get me, meanwhile, get me Jeremiah 51, 57, right? Meanwhile, right? So in Isaiah 29, it mentions that the Most High had done something to our leaders. The Most High had done something to the black men. It says, for the Most High had poured upon you the spirit of deep sleep and had closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, had he covered. Meaning, you so-called black men, all your leaders are asleep. This is why we need this club, because we need to raise you up. We need to wake you up to understand that you are asleep. This is why we can't get out of the situation we're in as a people, because all the leaders are sleeping. All the strong men are in jail. When he says sleep, he's not talking about, I mean, we sleep every night, but he's not talking about that sleep. He's talking about that we have no enlightenment. We useless. Well, if you're sleeping, you can't do nothing. You can't lead nobody. Right? We are not being leaders because why? The Lord had put a deep sleep upon us. Why did he do that? Because we refused to do justice when we had leadership. Right? So without leaders, what can the people do? Without real men to lead us out of our situation, what can the people do? You can have, and right now, look at our people wherever we go, man. We have no real leader that's defending our cause. Everybody done sell themselves out, man. To the church, to the political system. Everybody had done sell out to the highest bidder. We have no leaders. The pastors are not in your advantage. Your politicians are all sold out. Nobody's speaking on your behalf, man. Nobody's trying to change your situation. No one is coming for black people, man. And guess who? We are the future leaders. We are the men that have to take our people out of this predicament we're in, man. Right? We are the ones that have to rise up in these last days to bring our people home. And this is what they're afraid of. That one day we're going to find out who we are. We're going to stand up and we're going to take our people back. So this class, you need to understand the importance of it. But leadership doesn't just begin among a nation. It begins among the peers. It begins in the network of men. It begins in the house, right? Right now, we don't even have real men to lead the home, right? All our men are afraid of the women. We're afraid of the police. We're afraid of everything, pretty much. That's not what leadership is about. It's time for you black men to rise up and take your rightful place. You are leaders, man. Okay, you are leaders. Get me Jeremiah right quick. Go ahead, Ak.
Jeremiah 51, verse 57. And I will make drunk her princes and her wise men, her captains, and her rulers, and her mighty men, and they shall sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, says the King,
right,
whose name is the Most High of hosts.
Read that one more time.
And I will make drunk her princes and her wise men, her captains, and her rulers, and her mighty men, and they shall sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, says the King, whose name is the Most High of hosts.
Right. So the Bible say he'll make drunk our captains, our leaders. Who knows what does that mean? The Most High gonna make our captains and leaders drunk. Anyone can answer. Who knows what that means? He's gonna make our captains and leaders drunk.
They're going to do with lies.
Repeat that, Brother Sirac.
Probably means lies.
Lies. Okay, brother. Sardine, go ahead.
Getting into the different doctrines, like the wrong doctrines.
Right. So let's think about it. What does that mean if someone is drunk? Brother Asara, what does, let me ask specific. Brother Asara, what does that mean if someone is drunk? Like if you got a leader that's drunk.
They can't think clearly.
You cannot what?
They cannot think clearly.
That's right. That's correct. You cannot think clearly, right? You cannot make the right decisions. And the Most High said, all your leaders will be drunk, man. All your leaders will be in a deep sleep perpetually. Meaning there'll be a time that you black people would stay many days. It says that, I think in Hosea, that my people will remain many days without king, without a ruler, man. Let's get that right quick. Let me get that. That's how we know with the Israelites. Our leaders will perpetually sleep. Right? Let's get that scripture. Get me Hosea 3 and 4. Right? So that's how we know with the Israelites. Because the Most High is clear, man. We would spend many days, our leaders been sleeping. We have no one to defend our cause, no one to stand on our behalf, man. This is our situation right now. Hosea 3 verse 4.
Hosea 3 verse 4.
Bring it out.
For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim.
Right. So the Most High said what? We would spend many days without a prince. What does that mean? Without a leader, man. We'll spend many days without a leader. And we haven't had leaders for many years, man, as a people. It's sad. It's terrible. That as a people, we have no leaders, man. We have no one to stand on our behalf, no one to defend our children, no one to defend our cause. It's a tragedy because we only produce leaders every 50 years. We produce Malcolm X. We produce leaders since the time of slavery. Dessalines, Toussaint, right? In the revolution in Haiti. Then who else we had? We had Malcolm X. We had who else? Martin Luther King. We also have Garvey. We had a couple here and there, but they pop up every 50 years. This is a tragedy that the black men only have leaders every 50 years. Because the minute they kill one of us, guess what? You kill the shepherd, the whole sheep scattered, man. It's a tragedy. So these days, we have to raise leaders that have vision. We have to raise men that are honest. We have to raise men that are not afraid. Those are all traits of leaders. So in this leadership class, we'll show you the basic of leadership and how can we raise our leadership back, man, as a people. So the art of leading, the first thing you need to know about a leader or as a leader, whatever you are running, an organization, your own house, the first thing you need to know as a leader is forecasting and prevention. Forecasting and prevention. Forecasting and prevention. That's the first thing. Get me Proverbs 22 verse 3, Brother Sardine. Forecasting and prevention. Proverbs 22 and 3.
Proverbs 22 verse 3. A prudent man foresees the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished.
Brothers, whether it's in your house, in the congregation, or in the nation, a prudent man foresee evil and hide himself. A foolish pass on and is punished. As a man, as a leader, the first trait you need to, if you can read the future, you are 10 steps ahead of everybody else. Let me say that again. The most important superpower a leader have is being able to forecast what's going to happen. Financially, war, mentally, spiritually. If you can be ahead of your wife, Your finance, when your wife is panicking, you're not panicking because you can foresee what's going to happen. And when you foresee it, then you can prepare for it. That's why I like to create something called the what if list. What if list. What is that list? Is a list that allow me to forecast for my own life and for my family. The what if list, I write, what if my car break down? Then I'm like, okay, I only have one car. If my car break down, then I need a second car. During COVID, the first thing I asked myself, what if they don't allow my little ones to go to school because they need a medical passport? Then I quickly move my little ones out of the public school. I put them in private school. So I'm a man that's foreseeing things to come. And as a leader, you need to have foresight. Being able to see the future will give you a great advantage over your enemies. Right? So this is what we need. We have leaders that don't have no foresight. A lot of time people will tell you, you're negative because you have foresight, but don't listen to them. Foresight, you be able to see things people not seeing yet. And sometimes they'll think you're crazy because you're seeing things they're not seeing yet. But it's because you have foresight. You can know what's going to happen before it happens. And you can ask anyone I work with in leadership level. Certain things I'll bring out, you might not understand it. But it's because I have foresight. I read way ahead of time. I see things way ahead of time. And sometimes people think, man, you're thinking too much. You're doing it. No, it's not. Foresight allows you to have prevention. It allows you to prevent danger. And again, if you can read the future, you're ahead of time. And I want you brothers to keep that in mind as you navigate into being a leader. Have foresight for our people. If you're leading the congregation, if you're leading the nation, you need to know, hey, what's going to happen? What's going to happen in 10 years? What's going to happen in 5 years? Based on what I'm looking at the current event, what can happen? Then let me prepare. Foresight is the greatest gift of any leader. A prudent man see danger and hide himself. Right? He foresee evil, he hide himself. Right? So that's the first gift of a leader, the greatest thing you can ever have. The second thing a leader needs to have is financial literacy. You need to understand budgeting. You need to understand investment. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 12. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 12.
Ecclesiastes 7 verse 12.
Go ahead.
For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it.
Right. Money is a defense and wisdom is a defense. And this is why we can have leaders. We have leaders that ain't got it like that. Trust me or not, if you have money, people already look at you as a leader. And that's what we told you, what make a man a real man. You can go back to that video. One of it is that you have money. Right? Money is one thing. It's a defense. If you don't have money, how can you defend the people? But how can you defend the people if you don't have money? And how do you have money if you don't understand how money works? So that's why a man, a leader, need to educate himself about finance. We're not perfect. We all grown, but we need to understand how the financial system works. Because you will not lead anyone, even if you have good foresight. But if you ain't got no money or you can't make things happen, look at Vladimir Putin. In 2008, when he invaded Georgia, United States imposed so many sanctions on him. The ruble turned into rubble, right? The money is called ruble. The ruble turned into rubble, right? But guess what? He learned from that. Then he went back to school. He went and learned about finance. Then next time he invaded Ukraine, every sanction they threw at this guy couldn't work because he understood exactly how the system operates. He understood how finance worked. And this is a huge piece in you as being a leader in the nation. Understand how finance works. Understand how money works. Because the Bible says money is also a defense. Wisdom is also a defense. But knowledge gives life. So you need to learn about how money works for you to be a successful leader, both in your house and the nation. So here's a few things you need to learn as a leader. Budgeting, investment. Investment include retirement, college funding, and different things like that. Stock market. We're talking about also bonds, right? You need to learn all these terms. Basic accounting. Those are things you need to know. You need also debt management, how to manage your debt, and savings, right? You need to understand how these things work, because that's what as a leader, that's how you'll be able to lead both your household and the nation. The next thing a leader needs to learn is decisiveness. Decisiveness. Be decisive. Jude 1 verse 8, my brother. Jude 1 and 8. You hear that?
Jude 1, verse 8.
Bring it out.
Likewise, also, these filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion, and speak evil of dignities.
Read on.
Yet, Michael, the archangel, when contending with the devil, he disputed about the body of Moses, does not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, the Most High rebuked thee.
The Most High rebuked thee. Right? So decisiveness allow you to be decisive, to be raw in your action, right? To take quick action, right? So a lot of time what happened to our people, right? We're not decisive. We can't make up our mind, right? I have to get another precept. Give me 1 second. Get me Ecclesiasticus Act. Get Ecclesiasticus 37 verse 13.
Ecclesiasticus, known as Sirach, 37, verse 13.
Read verse 14. Read verse 14 as well.
And let the counsel of thine own heart stand, for there is no man more faithful unto thee than it. For a man's mind is sometime wont to tell him more than 7 watchmen that sit above in an high tower.
Right. So the scripture says, let the counsel of thy own heart stand. Of course, we have to seek advice, but at the end of the day, you have to make a decision. Whatever your heart tell you, after you take advice, you understand the thing, make it happen. Be decisive. They always say the only way you're gonna know you did something wrong is when the outcome show. Sometimes you may think you do something right, but it brings the right outcome. Then it's no longer wrong. It's right. Right? You may do something, people may say, oh, that's the wrong thing. But they also always say they ain't justify the means. What are you trying to achieve with that thing people perceive to be wrong? If it achieves something good, then it wasn't wrong at the end of the day. It was good. That's why the scripture is telling you sometimes your heart will tell you more than 7 watchmen. So yeah, there's a time. You say sometime, not all the time though. But sometime, especially if you follow the commandments of the Most High, your heart will tell you exactly what you need to do. And when it tells you what to do, be decisive. Don't be the kind of leader that you can't make up your mind. Make up your mind and do what you got to do. And this is the big problem we have among our leaders. Well, the few that we have, sometimes it's not leaders, us as men. Sometimes we are undecided. We can't take action. As a leader, your decision making can be the cause of life or death. You can't be like, oh, I can't decide. Well, you take counsel sometime too. You don't have time for counsel. You have to make a decision. Make the best bet. And sometimes you can be wrong. But sometimes after you counsel, after you listen, make a quick decision. Don't be undecided. Right? Whatever the outcome is whatever the outcome. That's the characteristic of a leader. Right? The next one we need to know about the art of leading, or about decisiveness, it's keep your promises, right? You have to keep your promise. Okay? Make decisions that are on point and stand your ground. Right? So a leader, you can't be the kind of leader that change your mind all the time. People will not respect you if everything that you said this now and later on you say that one. And that's one thing about me. If anyone know me, a lot of people say I'm stubborn. Not because I'm stubborn. If I know I'm wrong, I know I'm wrong. But when I know I'm right, I'm gonna stand like a solid son of a bee. Meaning I will stand strong. You're not gonna move me, and that's why sometimes people say, man, you too hard. Well, that's what men's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be the kind of man like everything people say make you change your mind. That's not how leadership works. And this is why a lot of time our women rule over our men, because we keep changing mind. After you consider something, you take advice, you listen to people, and you make a decision, that's what's gonna stand. And the same thing applies to our own household. If your children see you are not decisive in your action, meaning if you tell them, hey, listen, you need to go sit down or you're gonna get 10 pow, right? A good example. And when they do it, they don't sit down, and you don't give them that 10 pow, trust me, they will not respect you next time. They'll think, he's playing. That's how children works. That's how adults work. If they notice that you don't make good on your promises, that's why I say you got to keep your promises. That's part of being decisive. If you don't keep your promises, no one will respect you. That's why we got in Numbers 30, it says, whether you say evil or good, whatever come out of your mouth, make it happen, man. Right? That's why me and my little ones, they understand me. They don't mess with me. Because if I tell them I'm going to give them that pow, they will get it. And that's why the minute I speak, everybody know what to do. Right? Because they know as much as I'm friendly to them, I'm very volatile. Meaning at any point I can turn into a huge fire. Right? So you got to be decisive. The next thing about a leader, you need to have good communication. Get me the book of Philemon 1 verse 6. Right? Philemon 1 and 6.
Philemon 1 verse 6. That the communication of thy faith may become effectual by the acknowledging of every good thing which is in you in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai.
Right. That your communication of thy faith may become effectual, meaning effective. How do you have effective communication? Number one is to listen and learn before you speak. Now, we're not perfect, right? We all gonna have to strive on that one, but we have to listen a lot more than we speak. That's why you have two ears and one mouth. A man in general not supposed to be sitting there and arguing like women, especially arguing with your women. The greatest leaders are not the one that speaks a lot. The greatest leaders are the one that everybody's speaking in the room. He's silent. He's listening. And when he make a decision, the whole earth tremble, man. That's how a leader operates. He's the last one to speak, and when he speak, he make things happen. And a lot of time, people's waiting for him to speak because he doesn't say a lot. Even when he speak, he asks few questions. Then after that, he say few things, and the few things he said matters. Right? The next thing is keep your words few. We have verses for that, but we ain't going over all that. Avoid repetitions. Another thing about men, women will respect you more, your wife, or taken to a larger scale, your whole nation will respect you more when you avoid repeating yourself. If your child, you tell them, hey, sit down, and they don't sit down, you tell them, if you don't sit down, you get pow pow. And the next time, pa pa pa. Guess what? They know you're not repeating yourself. The same thing for women. You go to your wife, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. Keep talking. I'm done talking. I'm finished. It's over. You see, a woman going to love that attitude. Although she might not love it, but she's going to respect that attitude. As a man, you can't be repeating yourself, going back and forth with a woman. And that's something all our leaders need to have. Whatever you say is established. You don't have to keep repeating yourself. The next thing is think before you speak. This is part of you when you're listening, right? You're thinking, you're processing. Think before you speak. Now, that's going to take some work, but we have to get to that. Communication is crucial for leadership. Where, for people to trust you, for people to respect you, your communication skills got to be on point. You have to speak when it matters. You cannot keep repeating yourself, and you have to say what's effective. That's why it says let your communication be effectual. Whatever you say is very effective, right? The next thing a leader needs to have is self-control. Get me Proverbs 25, verse 26. Proverbs 25, 28. Proverbs 25, 28.
Proverbs 25, verse 28. He that has no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls.
Right. As a leader, that's another great skill for a leader. It says, he that have no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down. A city that's broken down, who knows what that means? What that means? If you don't have rule over your spirit, you like a city that is broken down. What exactly that is speaking about?
It has no defense.
He has no defense. And what could that implicate to that city?
Destruction.
And it also be easily, it could be easily controlled.
And easily attacked.
That's right. Easily controlled. Easily controlled. That's a great word the brother say. And easily attacked. Because you don't have that self-control over yourself. Someone else can control you. Someone else can make you say things that you did not want to say. Someone else may make you reveal secrets you were not supposed to reveal. Self-control teaches us to control your emotions. Because let me tell you something. If you have no control over your spirit, I can bring your own downfall. I can bring your own demise. How? Because I can make you do things that you regret doing. I can say things that I know that's gonna trigger you, and then in return you say things that you were not supposed to say. As the brothers say, if you don't have control of your spirit, anyone can control you. Anyone can bring you down as a leader. Not everything. Well, the rule of thumb for self-control is say what you must, avoid what you want to say. Say what you must, avoid what you want to say. Only speak about what you must. Don't say everything because it's in your mind. The next rule about self-control is be not forced into actions by anyone. Not because someone push you, that means you have to push back. Right? Because some person, they might hit you and start running. Right? Let me give you a good example they used to do in the mafia, right? And you watch that in movies. Someone can come and hit you and start running, and you run after him, not knowing that he was hitting you to lead you to a bait, to lead you to a group of guys hiding behind a bush somewhere. But he knows because he hits you, you're gonna lose your cool. Guess what? That's why he did that. He's gonna use your lack of self-control against you. Be not forced into actions by anyone. If you act, it's because you want to act. It's not because you're forcing me to act. And I'm going to act on my own way, on my own term. Number 3, do not go into a situation that you did not create. I'm going to repeat that. Do not go into a situation that you did not create. And brothers, I can stress how important this is for you as a leader. Let me give you a good example, right? You may go one day, let's say if you're a contractor, right? You go to a hotel, you're doing your work, and there's a woman that walk up to you and start liking you and be like, let's come to my hotel room and stuff like that. Yeah, I like you and da. And you like, oh man, you like a sheep being led to the slaughter. We see that in Proverbs 7. And you go to her room, you don't know what was ready for you, someone is setting you up. You don't even know. But the thing is, as a man, as a leader, if you're not the one that go talk to that woman, you should not go to her room because you did not create this situation. I want you guys to pay good attention to that. If you do not create this situation, don't walk into it. It's probably a trap. If you work, like I remember one time I was driving and a woman, she flagged me and be like, stop. I thought she needed help. And she's like, do you have a wife? I'm like, yeah. And she started telling me, does she please you in bed and stuff like that? I'm like, that's none of your business. She's like, oh, I can do it better and stuff like that. I'm like, ma'am, I'm sorry, I gotta go. That's not a situation I created. I have no control over that situation. I don't know what her intention is. I'm not gonna be like a sheep being led to the slaughter. I don't know what you want. And this is the problem with our leader. A lot of time we enter a situation that we have no control over. And I'm gonna give you one last story. In the time of the natives in Haiti, one of the queen her name was Anacaona. She was invited to a meeting with white people in, so-called meeting of peace and stuff like that. And then when she got there, they captured all her soldiers and they captured her and killed her. Now you may wonder what mistake did she make? She just went to a meeting. Well, you have no control over the meeting. The best thing you can do when you're negotiating with anyone is to find a way to put things on your own term. Don't just walk blindly and go to your enemy's meeting, or we're having a meeting here, or let's just come. You don't know if it's not a trap. If you don't know anything about the situation, always assume it is a trap. I want you guys to pay good attention. If you did not set up the situation, always assume it is a trap. And this is great for leaders because when you're dealing with an enemy like Esau, you have to understand this clearly. You did not create the situation, don't get into it. You may meet a guy that he hits your car, you might think, oh, he hits my car. Let me go back and punch him. Well, he probably hit you for a reason because he wants you to come out of the car. That's why you need to be unpredictable as a man. You did not create this situation. You need to be careful how you move in that situation because you don't know if it's a trap or why. Right? So be careful. That's self-control. And the next thing about self-control is do nothing under emotion, meaning don't take decision when you're emotional. There's a man called Sun Tzu, I believe. He said, do nothing if you are afraid, do nothing if you are in love. If you are afraid and in love, do nothing. Right? Because that's how they get a lot of men. Because, especially women, if they feel like, oh, you in love, then that's when she start asking for money and making demands. When you're in love, when you're in the bed, don't promise your wife, oh, I'm going to do this for you because you're in bed with her. Because when you're under emotion, you don't have self-control. When you're afraid, when you're afraid, you don't have self-control. Okay, so don't take decisions. So the 4 things is say what you must, avoid what you want to say, be not forced into action by anyone, do nothing under emotions, and do not always assume a situation you did not create is a trap. That's self-control. Right, next, about a leader, you need planning. Get me Proverbs 14 verse 15 now.
Proverbs 14, verse 15. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going.
Right, so a simple believe every word, but a prudent man look well to his going, meaning he has full control of what he's doing. So planning is a great part of leadership. Even your own household, what you're doing for the day, what's going to happen, who's going to clean this, who's going to clean that. You need to have a plan for your life. Not planning is like driving without direction. And I always say that if you don't control your life, someone else will control your time. If you don't control your time, someone else will. You can wonder why Esau have time for vacation and they're always playing golf. Why? They're playing it. Some of you never been on vacation because you never plan your life. You don't know when I need to take vacation. You don't even remember your anniversary. You don't even remember any important date for your life because you don't have anything in the calendar. Your life is just passing by. It's a whatever life. We need to get back to planning our homes, planning whatever we're doing. Right? You got to look well to where you're going. Right? So how does planning work? Plan little by little. You don't have to do a whole plan, but little by little you do your plan. Revise your plan often. Stick to your plan. All right? Don't deviate. By example, you can have a plan to call your insurance today, right? Or to set an appointment of some sort. Then your friend call you, hey man, you wanna go to Miami with me? Well, I didn't have that in my plan, brother. I can't go with you. I'm sorry. Right? Because even your environment have to respect your plans. They have to know, hey, brother, do you have plan today? Are you available? Not just, oh, let's go here, then your whole plan messed up for the day. I didn't have it in plan, I'm not going with you. I did not have that in plan, I'm not doing that. What I had planned for today, that's what I'm going to do. And that's how you're going to realize your life going to go smoothly and you're going to have direction for your life. And that you have to translate that in any organization you run. You have to translate that in the nation as well. Planning for everything that you do. The next is stick to your plan, keep track of progress. You have to keep track of what you do and adjust as needed. You may adjust as needed in your plan. So the last thing a leader needs to understand is dealing with conflict. How do you deal with conflict? But I think we did talk about that a bit, about conflict in the home. But we will go over these three things. The first thing about dealing with conflict is to understand is three things that allow you to deal with conflict successfully. Number one, understand. Number two, boundaries, meaning discipline. Number three is to act responsibly. So when you're dealing with a conflict or with your wife, by example, the first thing is to understand what they believe. That's what part of understanding. The first question you're gonna ask yourself, what is she saying? What they believe about this situation? What they don't like about this situation? Right? Their weakness and their flaws. So that's part of understanding. And this is part of you as a leader. A good example, we have that problem in Haiti, right? Where I'm from. A lot of time the people's protesting, the leaders don't even take time to understand. In fact, they send the police to gas them up. But the first thing they should have done, if there's a protest in the street, you need to gather the leaders of the protest and sit down. Hey, brothers, okay, I see a protest right here. You know, bring me in the palace at 3 a.m. this day. We're going to sit down and talk to understand what's going on. So as a man in your home, in any organization in the nation, whenever there's a discontent of your work, you need to sit down with everyone and try to understand what they believe, to understand what they don't like, to understand their weakness or their flaws, what's going on, because then you will be able to really fully understand the person that's in front of you. The next thing is boundaries. So you set up boundaries in conflicts. Is what do you expect, is what is the limit, and establish standard, right? What you expect, a good example of that is, okay, I listen to my child and they have a complaint against another one. I'm like, from now on, this is how it's gonna be. This is the laws. And this is why the Most High give us laws. And as a man, you need to set up laws in your house as well, right? You have to set up the limits. You have to establish the standards on how things should run and operate, meaning the process. And the last one is to act responsibly. Be the example. Be the example. So that's how you act responsibly. As a leader, and get me that act, and that's the last verse we're gonna take. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. Is it? Hold on. I think it was Wisdom of Solomon 10. Hold on. Sorry, it's Ecclesiasticus 10. Verse 2. Ecclesiasticus 10 verse 2.
Ecclesiasticus 10 verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
Right. So I can look at the household of a man. I tell you what kind of man this man is based on his children and his wife. Right? The same way in a government, the same way the president is, you're going to see the same way his officers are. So what does that mean? You act responsibly. You need to be an example on how things should be done. A living example. Then your household will follow you. Right? So let's do a recap on what it means to be a leader. Number one, you need to be aware of this. Oh no, hold on. The art of leading. Who remember what is the first thing a leader need to have?
See the future.
Forecasting and prevention. What is the second?
Understanding money.
Right. What is the second one?
Understanding money.
Understanding money. What is the third one?
Keep your word. Believe in yourself and trust your decision.
Right. Decisiveness. Be decisive. What is the let somebody do the next one, brother Surak. I wanna see if they got it. What is the next one after decisiveness?
Decisiveness.
After decisiveness, what is the next one?
Control.
No, there's one that come before self-control.
Good communication.
Communication. You need to master that as a leader. And the next one, as the brother says, self-control. And after self-control is what?
Planning.
Planning. You need to plan. And what is the last one?
Understanding boundaries. Be the example.
Right.
Set structure.
Right. So this is dealing with conflict. Be a problem solver of some type. Right? So and how you deal that, how you be a problem solver is to understand, have boundaries and act responsibly. So now I got three. Is there any question? Because I got some question on my own. Any questions? Or any comment on the lesson itself, suggestions?
Yeah, this is an important lesson. I like this one.
Salakia, I'll be back. I'm gonna be off for a minute.
All right, can't.
Come.
Right.
Yeah, this was a very important lesson.
Right. So, what is one of the main trait you think black leaders are lacking among all these traits that we speak of today? What is one of the main traits you think black leaders are lacking in these last days?
Planning, seeing the future, and understanding money.
Planning, foreseeing the future, and understanding money. Brother Elder Mika.
Well, I wanted to say the laws, because the leader has to know the laws in order to be a leader.
Right, structures. Understand laws. Can't. What else? The question is, what is one thing black leaders are lacking severely in this characteristic in these last days? Anyone else?
Like you were pointing out, they blind, like they don't have vision. The most what you call they go in a deep sleep, so that means they're not, and they drinking something like liquor. They can't think right.
Right, but in that list, where would you put that in that list we had?
Let's say self-control and vision.
And forecasting?
Yeah, forecasting, prevention.
So what is one thing that make you see that our leaders don't have forecasting and prevention?
Because there's a lot of our leaders, they don't prepare their downfall, because they just like a bunch of leaders. When the enemy get them easily, when the enemy get them easily, they don't set something so they can prevent them from getting killed or getting trapped in something. And for all, they don't train all the leaders, so when they gone, the other leader gonna step up. They just work for just one generation. That's it. And when they die, everything gone with them.
That's thank you, Minister. This is deep. This is deep, and we see the same thing happen with not Fidel Castro, with Maduro and his predecessor. What was his name again? The Venezuelan president. Anyone? Chavez, right? When Chavez was in power, he created Maduro. When he died, the white men thought, hey, we finally killed Chavez. We're going to take over Venezuela. Maduro said, I am worse than Chavez. Because Chavez created me. Chavez educated me. And they still cannot get Chavez. And they got mad because they thought, like, if we kill Chavez, it's over. No, no, no. It's not over because you kill me. And the same thing happened with Cuba. When Fidel Castro died, they thought they were going to take over. There's another one. He's not worse than Fidel Castro now, but he's the same. He's pretty much... Fidel Castro was more radical, but this guy is almost the same as Fidel Castro. He ain't dealing with the devil. This is exactly what you need, brothers. We need to have prevention that even if you kill me, there'll be 10 more to replace me. Right? Another thing the minister point out is that some of our leaders, they don't have a plan. If the enemy come after them, what do I do? You need to have plan age until Z. In case that happened, that do this. In case you do this. And that's what happened with Russia. They had prevention. The white men give them 17,000 sanctions. None of them worked because they had a plan. All right, so now I want a quick example, brother, of a leader that you know that you like, a leader that you know that you like, especially among our nation, especially from the past, that we can look up to and be, or a good thing that the leader did.
That's tough. Because I say self-control is one of the things, because most of our leaders made a covenant with death. You know, they'll turn us over for money. So one of the leaders of the past that might have done something good, wow, that's tough. You know, probably have to look towards the Bible, because right now, not in our generation, not for me anyway. Maybe somebody else.
Right. Yeah. So it's sad. What about you, Elder Mika?
What was it, brother? From the French Revolution? The Levite brother?
Dessalines?
Dessalines, yeah, he was a great leader. Because he fought Napoleon, right?
Khan.
Yeah, so you can use them as an example. I mean, they won that war. They won that war with honors till they ended up getting Louisiana.
Right. Khan. Anything you learn about his character that you like?
Well, he was a true, he was a soldier. He was I say he was a thug, gangster. He fought with honors. And he led his men, they fought with honors.
Right. One thing about him, I can tell you, since his Levite history, he was decisive. This is another thing. He wasn't like whatever he said, that's what's gonna happen, and he backed up his word. Whatever he said he will do, that's what he did. So, and a man like that was feared because, like, even if he had like 1,800 soldiers, he'd say, "We're gonna attack a whole army. We don't even care." So. He was very decisive in his actions. And that's and I think Judas of Maccabees had the same character, where he was really bold, being very decisive and unafraid to take tough decisions. So,
we have to post the brother picture up on YouTube because a lot of people don't really know who we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, we get a chance.
I mean, they can. I think they can pull it up. Personally, it's Dessalines, Jean-Jacques Dessalines. Yeah, the Haitian Revolution. They can look at that. But the last question we have tonight is, what do you think you can do yourself to improve your leadership skills? I mean, I'm gonna start. I think I need to work more on my communication. What else for you? What do you think you can work more? Remember, if we confess what we need to work on, then that means we know where we at, and as strong men, we have to be able to say, hey, that's what I need to work on. So let's get to it. What do you need to work on your leadership skill based on what we teach tonight?
Seeing the future, good communication skills, self control, and planning. I need to work on all that good stuff.
Khan, all praises.
I say decisiveness, like when I'm thinking of something, like doing it, just not just thinking about it or coming up with a good plan, but the application of it.
Right? Yeah.
Khan.
Absolutely.
What else? What else, brothers? Let's go.
I could say for me, making it, making a plan and making it happen, completing it at the same time, coming up with coming up with things that more, making a escape route just in case things don't happen the
That,
way you plan it.
right, foresight.
Coming up with a plan. Right.
Foresight and planning.
Right.
What about you, brother Watsam? You here?
I got to work on all this.
What about you, Minister Khan?
Me, I would say like organization, like a better planning, because most of the other thing I'm not perfect on them. I work on them, but when it's come to organize something, like make sure organize it, yeah. Everybody know me for that. I'm not good at organizing.
Okay, Khan. What about you, brother Asar?
Excuse me?
What about you? What leadership skills you need to work on?
Hmm. Well, that's a good question. Work on, how should I say this?
So we had forecasting, meaning being able to foresee things. We had financial literacy, decisiveness, communication, self-control. We had planning. We also had being a problem solver. What do you think?
Self-control.
Okay. What about it you need to work on? Like, what about self-control?
Well, how to like handle things, how to handle situations.
Right. Like how to handle situations?
Yes.
Khan. Very good. All right, brother Ibrahim. I don't know if you're here. Brother Wadsam, I don't know if you're here. I highly doubt so, because I don't hear you guys. But yes, brothers. So I hope you guys take all these 7 things. I believe it's 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things.
I can't lie.
Take those 7 things, put them on your wall, write them. Let me say them again: forecasting and prevention, financial literacy, being able to understand finance and money, decisiveness, being able to make quick decisions, think about it, and then make it happen, communication, self-control,
Planning.
we have planning, and then we have being a problem solver, right? Being good at conflicts. right? So those 7 things, those are the pillars. Then there's more things, but those have been the pillar of leadership since the existence of the earth. So if you can master those 7 things, at least as leaders we have a chance. Brothers, I can stress how important this lesson was, because we need leaders in our community. We need men that will rise up. We need strong men that will lead that nation. And we can stress how important, getting these 7 things down packed. That's why I want you all to write it down, practice, and get better at these things. Because we are the futures, we are the leaders of tomorrow. On that, shalom to everyone. And for those that are part of the club, we will have a 5 minutes conversation tonight. And for those who haven't been part of the club, you can always reach out to us on Facebook. Look for Strongman Club, right? And we will see how we can integrate you in the club. All praise to the Most High by Hashem Yahushai. May the Most High bless you and keep you, make His face shine upon you, and give you peace. So all praises to those that are online, shalom. And to our brothers, give us 5 minutes.
It's also TikTok, Instagram, Clubhouse. You can reach out on all those websites. Did I forget one, Sirach?
He don't realize he's on mute. He's on mute. Right. So yes, reach out if you wanna be part of this great club. All praise to the Most High.
Say YouTube also.